I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Courtside Soundoff podcast. Once again, I'm Josh Shivanov. As always, welcome by the one and only man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. My friend and yours, Angel Ortega. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. UFC Vegas 103 went down in the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. Which, by the way, we'll be talking about that UFC Apex shortly, because apparently Mark Shapiro, TKO Group, executive Mark Shapiro, made some interesting comments about it. But that being said, it is UFC 313 Fight Week, Dateline, Las Vegas, Nevada, going down T-Mobile Arena Saturday night. We'll talk about that, as well as a bunch of news. Before we break into the action, Angel, a few fronts to the show, my friend. Rogue Energy, ELYXR, and our friends over at BetMGM. Rogue Energy keeps me filled up, whether I'm at home, whether I'm at the gym, or whether I am in the icy tundra known as Kansas City. Dude, I hate that we have to keep on recording over Skype. But dude, like, you think it's done. You think it's done. We've had hell yeah, man. Yeah, we've had 60-degree weather all week, and then boom, like last night, it's, oh yeah, here's some fucking snow, some ice, it's just ridiculous, man.
I was gonna say, we're fine next week though. Isn't it crazy? We're going from this to being in the 70s next week.
I know. Well, here's the thing. We went from 60s to blizzard warning back to 70s. Like, it's insane, Kind
of impressive, though.
It is kind of impressive. I will say, man, this winter is the first winter where, I've ever thought, you know what? Maybe I should make a go in Florida. Maybe I could just, maybe Florida, maybe Vegas, maybe fucking anywhere where there's not this type of ridiculous snow, Because I think if I lived in somewhere what's place that shitty snow? South Dakota or some shit? I think I'd be used to it,
but this is some of the worst it's been in a while, though, I'd say.
Yeah, it's god damn, dude. Freezing rain every other. You think you're done, and then boom, freezing rain is back, and then you go a week where it's here's 60-degree weather, and boom, 3 inches of snow. Come on, man. Shit.
Dude, acid rain,
yeah, literally. That's the way it feels, man. But you know what? I don't get too worked up about it, because I'm always chill. Thanks to ELYXR.com. ELYXR has great products, including Delta 8s. They got gels, joints. They got it all, man. And you can go ahead and get it all for code SOUNDOFF, 10% off at checkout. All caps when you spell the brand name. Lastly, we have our friends over at BetMGM. Guys, we have a huge card coming out this weekend, UFC 313, going down in Las Vegas, obviously. If you want to join in on the fun, you can follow that link down below and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets paid back. That's if you don't hit. Contact 1-800-GAMBLER if you're having any issues. But if you want to have some fun along with us, and we'll give you our picks later in the show, go ahead and follow the link down below to BetMGM. Well, Angel, the UFC was back at the Apex Saturday night. UFC Vegas 103 in the main event. Flyweights in a potential title shot on the line. We know Alexander Pantoja is going to be facing Guy Cara France next. But beyond that, there is not an ex-title challenger set. Well, we might have one. I say might because, you never know for sure. But it seems like there's a title eliminator going in. Manel Kape knocks out Asu Almabayev in round 3. Great stuff from the Star Boy, who has now won 6 of his last 7 fights. The only loss coming to Manel Kape, who was apparently the worst man on earth. Nonetheless, man, give me your thoughts on this main event. Give me your thoughts on his win. And Asu Almabayev, he hung in there. He had some moments, but just great stuff from Manel Kape on Saturday.
I mean, he's looked good. I mean, I think I said this in Manel Kape's last fight, where I'm it seems like, outside of the Makaev one, right? It seems like he's finally coming into form. He's getting comfortable. He knows what he needs to do. And he did that in Felipe Dos Santos' fight back in 2023, which was on short notice, was in Australia. So be it, but he still looked good in there. And when he's on, man. He's quick. He has, I don't want to say it's essentially power. I think it's more precision than power, but he does have pop. I don't want to call it shot soft, man. He probably dropped me. Actually, not even probably. Definitely dropped me.
Yeah, he fucked me up for sure, yeah.
He knows what he needs to do. On the Almabayev, man, I had some hope there. We need to address this with the eye pokes. Once again, demonic. Another week of eye pokes. I'm not going to say they would have necessarily made a difference, but fuck me, dude. 2 weeks in a row were the main. It's funny, because it's the main event. It is the main event again, Josh. Also, I had a very minor issue with the stoppage just because Almabayev ended up going into a double leg as the fight got.
Yeah, I get that. I thought it was a fine stoppage, but I see your standpoint, and I'd be remiss if I also didn't talk about the fouls because, dude, what are we doing here? I mean, I said this last week.
I mean, you saw the eye, right? You saw. I mean, I said it to you on Twitter. Dude, you can't tell me that did not affect that fighter.
And Manel Kape, who, look, great performance, like the guy, very fun, very interesting, brings a lot of charisma to the 125-pound division. That was the most egregious eye rake I have seen. I mean, since John Jones, honestly, like John, you knew he's doing it on purpose. Manel Kape, I mean, did you see the slow-mo of him going in for it? Both hands.
The double eye poke. I mean, fingers fully extended, like no warning whatsoever.
Not even trying to do a punch either.
Yeah, like there's nothing you could do to defend what that is. No, that exchange was when the fingers were out. There's nothing you could say.
It was incredibly obvious. And it just further institutes that the best base for MMA is just fucking cheating. It's just true.
I mean, there was the era they said it was jiu-jitsu, then wrestling. Now it's fucking eye pokes, bro.
Yeah, dude. I mean, seriously, if you're not an MMA fighter and you don't go out there and immediately kick your opponent in the dick and rake him across the eyes, what are you doing? Like, I mean, genuinely, like, what's the point? There's no point in not doing it. Like,
dude, if this happens next week, like, we need to, like, and we haven't made a clip about it or anything really, but, like, we need to start having, and we should have already had them, having even more intense conversations.
Well, here's the issue, is I don't really know what, like, I just think the UFC just doesn't care, and until the UFC cares, they're not going to get the Athletic Commission to care. So the Athletic Commission will only care when
you have two options, though. I'd say you have two options, though. Improve the technology, or, like, something has to improve with the reffing where the guys got to step in. Like, this is the only, granted, reffing's been an issue. And granted, I felt like for a while there we didn't talk for reffing, actually, for quite a bit. I think it actually kind of had improved. But now we're talking about it again in the sense of, like, not establishing yourself quick. And I think, dude, like, before, you used to get, like, oh, a dick kick, okay, we'll kind of let it go, whatever. But I think now there needs to be a certain level of intensity where off the rip, first bell happens, okay, that's it. Next one, guaranteed point. You know what I mean? And granted, there's levels to it, right? Maybe if it's just a rake, the other guy, like, because guys will graze, the cup. Guy goes, okay, quick, we stop the action, no point. But, hey, be careful. And if it continues to happen, or if there is a eye poke off the rip that was, where they had to take time, they did pause, cleared the fighters affected, you need to immediately establish, this is fucking it for you, and then the next one's a point. I used to be a little bit more loose about that because of how much points can affect a fight. Something? And now they might even, if we're going to affect the fight, let's affect it plausibly. Now that guy has a point deduction. Guys that go after it harder. Guys that come at the fight. Now he's got pressure on him, And the opposition's going to have to react to that. This might be a positive thing to the sport, actually.
Well, I mean, that's the hope, right? The hope is that this can lead to something positive because it's just, it's bad right now, man. It's real bad. I mean, the fact that, like, we're talking about this on, like, a weekly basis. That's literally what it is. It is weekly. We just have the same conversation. You know what I mean? And it's like, but this is what I said though. Like, until the UFC cares, they're not going to do anything. And the Athletic Commission, and this is the thing, right? Like, they're separate entities, but come on, man. Like, you and I aren't stupid. The Athletic Commission is basically owned by the UFC, and the vast majority of them. Like, they fold to whatever the UFC wants. They'll do whatever they want for the most part, right? If the UFC went out there and was like, hey, like, we need some actual enforcement on the rules of mixed martial arts, then some change will actually happen. Until the UFC decides they want to see that change, no change will happen. And it's depressing. And it's going to take somebody like a Sean O'Malley getting eye poked 4 times. You know what I mean? It's going to take a John Jones just getting blasted with a dick kick. And it sucks, but that's the reality, is it not?
I mean, probably. I mean, there's going to have to be some, like, because, like, the foul will have to be such a major fuck up and screw them over in such a massive way where they will have to, like, have some sort of conversations. Like, dude, let's say Islam Ilya happens. Imagine if they make that fight for National Fight Week. That's the main event. And let's say there's a groin strike and it's so bad that a fighter can't continue, so the fight has to get called a no contest.
That's a good. Yeah, that's more like the better way to put it. Yeah.
Or eye poke too. Vice versa. I mean, literally, like you said, any example of like where it fucks them over so hard, they're like, yeah, this is never gonna happen again under our watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's what it's gonna take. And it's yeah, man, it just sucks. It just sucks. I hate that we have this conversation every fucking week. Like every week, man. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks that we have to have this conversation all the time. But the reality is, until something changes, we're going to keep on having this conversation. And it seems like they just don't give a shit about actually seeing any change. And it's depressing. And I don't really know what to say about it. You know what I mean? Because, man, like, I don't know. Like I said, it's every week. We've already talked about this to death. Yeah, like, let's just hope they change. That's all. Like, that's all we can hope for is that some change happens. As far as Manel Kape, title shot, maybe? I mean, what do you think? You think he's done enough to earn a shot, a crack at Alexander Pantoja potentially? Or maybe Kai Car France. We got to be fair and fight it happen, you know?
I mean, the number one contender isn't in this division anymore or in this promotion, so I guess what are your choices, you know?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, Bryce Mitchell could be a Nazi, but Magomed Ankalaev is apparently rude behind the scenes. So, I mean, hey, you know, yeah, I don't know what to really say about it. Just. Yeah, and that's another thing that's just frustrating. But regardless, man, we'll move on because this co-main event, early fight of the year contender, or at the very least round of the year contender. You know, maybe fight of the year's pushing it is a bit much. Not a lot actually happened because it was one round, just kind of banger.
It's one of the best one-round fights I've watched.
Yeah, it's been years since we've had a one-round fight this fucking good. Cody Brundage and Julian Marquez just going back and forth, throwing nonstop bombs. They said, fuck defense. They said, fuck defense on this one, man. Julian Marquez rocks Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage coming back, rebounds, ends up getting a salvage win himself. What did you make about this fight? Granted, no real stakes in this one, but it was basically the perfect Apex fight for this guard.
Dude, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I told you last week, and I said it on the show, and I should probably go back, and I might even make an edit of this. I said, no bullshit. They literally told these guys, hey, one of you two is getting cut. We're putting you on the co-main event. Go to fucking war. And they did. They went to fucking war for one round. And it was awesome. Once again, a scenario where I need to say this, a scenario where records don't matter, name didn't matter, accolades didn't matter, but the fight was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Love this
sport.
Great
way to put it. Yeah.
Love this sport. Should they have been the co-main? Probably not.
Fuck no. Fuck.
But they, I gotta give them credit. They gave us a co-main moment.
Yeah, they did. It was a fun fight. It was a very fun fight.
Yeah.
And look, this may be curtains for Julian Marquez of the UFC. I hope not. I still think he's very fun.
But that is 4 in a row. And his last one was Salvador in 2021. Yeah. Just got to put it out there. I mean, we like the guy he is from our home state, but we got to say it as it is too, Josh. We can't also lie.
No, we can't lie. That's got to be it. I think he's actually a perfect PFL guy. I think PFL doesn't have enough guys that are just slug it out guys. You know what I mean? Like, think about the big PFL fights we talked about. They're almost all like, obviously we have the Paul Hughes one, but beyond that, what do we talk about? Guys like Clay Collard, Shane Burgos, guys who just go out there and swing and bang. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the exciting fights, yeah, like the really good guys that they have where they're champs and could technically and could probably do some shit in like the UFC or even one or whatever. Yeah, they don't get the love they deserve, I think, but you're not entirely wrong, you know. I mean, the times we do talk about the PFL, it's because like some crazy shit happened, like what was it, 11 knockdowns, 9 knockdowns? I don't even remember.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't think of the guys' names right now, but we talked about them. I said them in the fight of the year discussion, yeah. But anyways, man, taking a look at the rest of this card, you had some decent fights, man. Nasrat Haqparast pulling off a split decision win over Esteban Ribovic. I'd say controversial.
Yeah, a little bit. I get it. I don't know. At least they both got 50 Gs. Upset win for Nasrat, good for him in that sense, but I felt like it should have gone the other way. This one did kind of hurt for me. So be it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. Overall,
by the way, great night for underdogs.
Oh yeah, dude, it was a great night for underdogs. We'll talk about some of those in a minute. Also on the main card, Hyder Emil defeating William Gummies.
brought it to him, dude. Loved the way he fought that fight. Stayed on his court. By the way, 34 years old, soon to be 35, 145er. Gave it to the talented, favorited William Gummies, the French fighter. Dude, that was awesome. He ended his win streak in the UFC. Went from being 4-0 to now 4-1. Granted, nothing wrong there, but I'm also looking ahead. William Gomez' wins. His last one was a split, and then before that it was a finish, but then a split in there in the majority. So he was kind of due to be on the other end.
Yeah, it was a really fun fight though. I got to give him credit. I really enjoyed that one. You know who else I enjoyed, Angel?
This was moment of the night.
Yeah, Sam Patterson, truther, stand up. Stand up, I said, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Patterson is a real motherfucking deal.
Put money on that guy, dude. I mean, he was the truth, dude. Like, I said it. Ever since he transitioned to 170 and quit trying to make to 155, this guy is different. That is 3 wins in a row, 3 finishes in a row, first round. I've seen enough. This kid needs to get the push, dude. I'm not saying ranked 170ers, but let's start increasing the level of competition. Let's start giving him some of those guys outside of the 170 range. Because, I mean, dude, it's been a minute since they've had a guy from England kind of come through. Let's see if we can develop another English talent and blow this shit out of the water, you know?
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And the kid's fun. I fuck with him. Yeah, man, let's see how far he can go. So let's not push him too fast, but I enjoyed the swing. Dana Barlow's no scrub either. So, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Dude, we know in the co-main event, Cody Brundage, Julian Marquez, we had a round of the year contender. How about knockout of the year contender? Granted, this fight had relatively no stakes, 0 whatsoever. And it sucks to say because one of these guys, Austin Lane, former chief, getting absolutely flattened by Mario Pinto, UC Vegas 103. Dude, it's been a long time since we've seen a guy just go absolutely out, flat on the back, out cold like that. What did you make about that knockout?
That shit was awesome, dude. I knew it was going to happen too.
Yeah.
I gotta say it though. I knew he was Portuguese. I did not expect to start speaking English and they'd say, yeah, I would have fought in the UFC London card here in a few weeks. That shit really threw me off. Cause I watched him on the Contender, but I didn't watch the interview, and then I saw he got signed, so I was like, okay, cool. This guy looks good. By the way, he said he looks up to Fedor. I mean, you're
speaking to me, man. You're speaking to me. I mean, that's at that point. I mean, come on, dude.
By the way, I like what he's saying. He's saying he wants to take it slow. He's not obsessed with getting through the rankings real quick. He wants to build them up. I love that shit, dude. We need guys with this attitude, dude, and I love it.
I know, and here's the thing too. That first round, it was like, oh man, I'm not really sure what to expect out of this guy. Not a lot really happened. Oh shit, it was really one of those moments, man.
He has one of the best Tapology pictures too.
Oh dude, I know, he looks hilarious. Guy looks insane. Yeah, man, great stuff from Mario Pinto on Saturday, man. We need some new blood, man. We need some new blood at heavyweight, dog. Give it to me. Give me some new blood, man. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking for somebody to come through here, and just work your ass off and try and do something. Mario Pinto, maybe he's the guy. Maybe he won't be the guy regardless. Great performance on Saturday.
He's a 26-year-old heavyweight. That's all.
Yeah, there you go, dude. There you go. Great stuff. Next up, man, goddamn, Shefe Marsikal. I mean,
machine gun, baby. That was a machine gun performance.
God damn, man. Shit. Great performance of him against Ricardo Ramos. Ricardo Ramos, man, I expected more out of him. But you can see in that first round, whenever he started getting tagged, oh shit, okay, this kid's different. It was almost for a veteran of the game, Ricardo Ramos. It's oh shit, okay.
By the way, another guy, we have to start having conversations. 5 wins, 0 losses in the UFC. Only 1 finish in there, and it was a verbal tap, by the way, because it was a Jack Jennings injury. But dude, all those fights have been pretty damn good. And also the way he fights, you would never assume that his foundation is judo. And he has those throws, and they're fucking awesome. I hope he's 32. I hope he gets the push soon too. I think he's due for it. Him and Mean Machine have been kind of built guys who've been outside the 45, kind of making their way in. He's an 8 fight win streak right now. He turns out of elevation. I'm excited to see Mean Machine, Mean Machine and Machine Gun get some high fights. This shit was awesome, dude. I loved it.
Yeah, man. Shout out Mean Machine too, who was supposed to fight at UC Seattle. Still a dog. So yeah, I actually have no problem with you shouting him out. But yeah, man, good stuff from Super Basketball on Saturday. Danny Silva defeating Lucas Almeida. Fine fight, you know. JJ Aldrich handing Andrea Lee her, let me double check this, 7th loss?
This has to be the end.
6th loss. It would be 6 losses in a row in the UFC. Man, I said it last week. I like KGB Lee. At one point in time, I thought maybe she could have been a UFC champion. I'm talking like probably 10 years ago when they first started the division, you know, women's flyweight, or at least top 5. And she was top 5 for a minute. You know what I'm saying? It's time. I mean, we are so far past the point of her being in the UFC making sense. I mean, this is ridiculous. And JJ Aldrich, good, but not 30-27 getting dropped on the feet type good. You know what I mean? She dropped her in round 1, and it's like, dude, if you're getting dropped by JJ Aldrich, it's time. You know what I mean? Like what are we doing here? Yeah. Nonetheless, man. The only fight of the card. We got to talk about it because we praised this guy a lot, and I hated that he was taking this fight, especially in this position as a prelim opener. But Hamzan Taramulov handing our boy Charles Johnson a unanimous decision loss. Look, he made a great comeback in the third, but you know, it is what it is. What'd you make of the fight, man?
I mean, dude, look, he came back on the other half of the fight and ended up getting a decision. I think, and we got to talk about it, and I think we should express this. This was a mistake to take this fight. And granted, I don't know if this was the UFC pressuring him, him wanting to just take it. It was his decision entirely, and him and his team were okay with it, or if his agent pushed for it. He's like, "Come on, dude, let's do it. We can get another win. Like this won't push us through." Like this was a giant mistake. Like I'm actually very heartbroken that that this decision happened. I mean, and look, I didn't doubt that he could win this fight. He took a round decisively. He was in it the whole time. He was in it the whole time. We'll call it as it is. And he's still in the rankings. But fuck me, dude. He was deserving of a very important fight in the UFC and to be on a prelim or a main card of a pay-per-view, and he didn't get that. I feel like he was robbed of a big moment, of making a big career step. He should have been fighting a Tim Elliott, an Alex Perez type, you know what I mean? Like a Tagir Ulanbekov, like that was a fight that was also on the table potentially. I mean, he might be booked. Like it just doesn't sit right with me that this fight happened.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you there. It is it's upsetting, to a degree. Like this is a guy that for whatever reason in a division where like not a lot's actually happening, he's been one of the only guys who's like, all right, I'm going to stay active. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to fight. I'm going to win. And he's been the underdog for multiple of his last 2 fights, and he's still found a way to just come through and pull off an upset win. Joshua Van, you think about that? I believe when he was fighting, I can't think of the kid's name, who was like 15-0.
Well, dude, it was literally 4 prospects in a row. Azazat Mukassam, Jake Hadley, Joshua Van, and then you had Sumar Najiri, they're not necessarily a young prospect, but, guy who was ranked.
Good guy, veteran of the game.
Veteran of the game, was going to make a hard fight, and look, if he would have fought like a Tim Elliott and Alex Perez, let's say they would have gave him like a big fight later and he lost, so be it, right? But the opportunity, man, the possibility. He went down 3 rank spots. Now he's 15. He was 13th. I don't know, and they might even make him fight a guy who's unranked again.
Yeah,
they just might, which is fucking insane.
Depressing. Yeah, and that's actually what I expect from him because it didn't seem like they just value the guy at all. And I don't know why, because he has a fun fight style. Like He's got his bonuses in those fights. He got a bonus against Ban. He got a bonus against Azam Mukassam. Like, I don't know. It's dumb. It's dumb. And I hated this fight. And yeah, I mean, look, I don't know, man. I don't want to write the guy's obituary, right? But you got to wonder. Like, it's tough to make a run, man. It's really tough to make a run. And he was hot, and they could have given him. They should have given him a higher rank. He's 34, like how much time does he realistically have? You know what I mean? Dude, it could have been 2 fights and a title. It could have been 1 fight and then a title shot because there's not that many choices. He could have fought a guy in the top 10, maybe top 8. Okay, cool. Yeah. And they're like, well, what choices do we got? All right, fuck it. I guess we got Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson gets a title fight. Like, so be it. Maybe it's not what you're asking for, but dude, like, I don't know. This is probably one of the more heartbreaking moments for me in recent time when it comes to a fighter and then building themselves up and then
unfortunately, things don't go their way. And like I said, at the end of the day, he did sign a fight. He did take the fight. It was his job to win. But I see both sides of the coin. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, and also the last thing I'm gonna say on this is one of the things that we were talking about last week. Like, they book themselves into a corner where they're like, oh man, we don't have any contenders. What are we gonna do? And then they have to book some fight that not a lot of people will care about, or that just doesn't make any sense. But you know what, dude? Like, the reason why you're in this position is you book yourself into a corner. Like, Charles Johnson could have been easily another contender. He could be fighting for the title next, or end of the year and early next year, if they wanted to give him multiple fights to put him on that pathway. Instead, they were like, oh, you know what? Fuck this guy. Let's put him against a not ranked, really great prospect for his 5th fight in a row, and he finally lost, and now he's done. And now you have to hope that this kid can do something with this. But I don't know. It just annoys me. But that's it for UFC Vegas 103. But Angel,
we gotta buy our Inner G shirt now, dude, and support. Like, that is just something.
Dude, come on.
By the way, he has great merch. I gotta give him credit. Like, I saw his merch store, pretty goated. Like, I'm actually impressed.
Yeah, I've actually not seen it, so I'm actually pulling it up right now. But yeah, shout out Charles Johnson. Go buy some merch. The Inner G. Oh, I looked it up. Oh, dude, that's sick.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like how he's committed to his. This is his branding. Like, dude, this is what you like to see a guy. Once again, dude, if they built a guy up properly, this guy's doing already the right things. He just needs the platform.
Exactly. Yeah. So love me some Charles Johnson, and yeah, let's see what happens with him in the future. He's still good. He's still very good. But nonetheless, UFC 313.
By the way, we love the sport, Josh, because when we spent the whole time talking about a UFC 125 flyweight fight that opened up a card of the UFC Fight Apex. Just gotta say that right now.
Well, yeah, dude. We got that dog in us, man. We're veterans of the game, man. What do these new kids know about Charles Johnson?
What do you mean?
Talk about him?
We gotta reference it, dude. It's been like 4 weeks in a row. What do these kids know about Olaf Alfonso versus John
Polakowski? Yeah, man. Do you know the trilogy? Nope. You don't know. You don't know. You weren't there for the trilogy. You weren't there.
Oh man.
But anyways, UFC 313 going down this Saturday night. UFC Vegas, not UFC Vegas, in Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. Look, man, this is a fight we've been waiting for a very, very long time. Alex Pereira back for the first time. This is knockout win over Khalil Roundtree in October. Before the fight, we're like, oh man, will he fight? Well, let me rephrase. Before they booked that fight, we were like, oh, will he end up fighting? Magomed Ankalaev? Like, there were a lot of questions. A lot of people thought Ankalaev deserved the opportunity. He didn't get it, so went to Roundtree. Well, Ankalaev, who is now riding, I want to say, oh man, he's won so many fights in a row. It's actually kind of funny. Because I don't want to fuck this up. Let me pull it up real quick. This man is riding a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fight unbeaten streak. Angel, that's quite a lot of wins. But will it be enough to dethrone Alex Pereira on Saturday night? We know the story. Pereira has not faced really much of a wrestler in his light heavyweight run. To be fair, there's not really many wrestlers up at 205. The best one is probably Magomed Ankalaev. But will he take the fight to the ground? What are you thinking? What do you think about this UFC 313 main event? According to the current line from our friends over at BetMGM, Alex Pereira is a slight favorite. Slight, minus 115. Magomed Ankalaev coming back at minus 105. What do you make of this fight, man? By the way, not sure if you knew, you are muted.
No. I'm thank you. Sorry. I had a cough and I took a drink too, so I didn't want to make.
No, I get it. Shit happens.
But no, I gotta say these are some of the best odds I've seen for a fight in a while. Like sometimes I feel like odds are very dude. There's been some odds that have been pretty fucking bad in recent time that have been like I feel like those are off. Or I feel like it should be closer. Yeah. I think these are actually pretty dead on point. I think it should be near even, if not just even. Look, man, I mean, we gotta say it. There ain't too many grapplers in this division. We gotta call it as it fucking is. Look, and I gotta say it. There's not that many guys in the division that I think could beat Alex at this point. Most of these guys are going to try to, their fight style is try to stand. They like to strike. And clearly Poatan has a gap in that department. We've seen it time and time again. Khalil and Izzy have been like the guys only ones to find some either success or some success. And granted, that's also because they present a high level of striking. Also, man, Khalil, man, you got to give him credit. Like, who would have known, right? But look, I'm gonna pick Ankalaev only because I think he's either the only guy or one of the few only guys who could beat Poatan in this division.
Yeah, I get it. For me, man, I'm very conflicted on this fight. I think it comes down to, will Magomed Ankalaev actually try and take him down? I mean, seriously.
He has to. If he cares about that title at all, he has to. I don't even think we should even question it. If he cares at all, he has to.
I know, but how many times? We've seen this multiple times now.
Look,
where guys are like, yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm not gonna take him down, and they actually mean it, and they stand with him, and they get knocked the fuck out.
No, I mean, and you're not wrong, but dude, if this guy has any semblance, cares at all to win this fight, and we'll see it there, and we'll talk about the show. If he does not choose to at least grapple to somewhat of an extent, and he could grapple and fail and lose the fight, and that's fine. But if he's not attempt that, dude, like, he didn't care. I hate to say it, he didn't care about winning the title as much as he might have thought he did.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, I will say, like, if he takes him down, if he actually is coming in with like a grappling heavy game plan, he's gonna win.
Or even cage wrestling, dude. It's not even just like people are hell bent on the idea of like, he's gonna get taken down, put on his back, dude. Not even just that. Put him against the cage. Work your takedowns against the cage. Do that shit. Some throws. Double legs. Like, it isn't just simply about just getting a single leg taking this guy down. Like, I think people are obsessed with the idea that they just want to see him on his fucking back, dude. Like, he could be beat in a number of ways with grappling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. I think Poatan is going to put him in trouble at some point. But I don't know if, I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I am officially picking Magomed Ankalaev. I am with you on that one. But man, I think it's weird because like, like we have like the whole heart versus head thing. My heart is telling me that Alex Pereira is going to win this fight.
Oh no, I'm on the same boat. I'm on the same boat. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not gonna come back here next week and be like, shit guys, I didn't see it coming. How did I know I was gonna land that right short hook, or that left hook of his? Like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. I'm gonna come here and be like, all right, so be it. I mean, I thought Magomed could have done some shit and worked in the grappling department and maybe got a sub, or maybe drawn out the fight for 5 rounds and won the fight like that. Like, dude, no. I mean, that's not gonna be the conversation next week. Conversation next week is gonna be like, holy fuck, he got checked on the ground, or is it be like, shit, Poatan, or it's to be, holy fuck, dude, Poatan's like counter wrestling and takedown defense looks solid. He was able to extend the fight. He won 5 rounds maybe, or guys, not surprised, he did it again. He blasted him out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not fool ourselves. These are going to be the conversations we're going to have in a week.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I'm not going to be very shocked, But yeah, I mean, as far as the fight goes, my official prediction is Magomed Ankalaev. I think he's going to take him down. I think just the guy's been wrestling his whole fucking life. I just think Alex Pereira, and we haven't really seen him have to wrestle much. And dude, when's the last time somebody actually tried to take him down? Would have been Jan Blachowicz.
Yep.
And Jan did that multiple times. Huh?
An ancient Blachowicz at that.
Yeah, an ancient Blachowicz, who lost by split decision, and some people thought he won that fight, and happened at Salt Lake City too. So we got, there's a lot of weird factors in that one, but Blachowicz took him down pretty much at will, and man, if Blachowicz could do that, Magomed Ankalaev could absolutely do that. But
I was going to ask you a question, and I'm sorry to kind of cut you off there, but
good.
Looking past Ankalaev, and I talked about it. I don't know if I mentioned it before, even like in the green room, but who realistically, looking past Ankalaev, you think beats Poatan or could be Poatan?
Oh man, see, that's the issue. Is the only guys that I could realistically see beating him are guys that are grappling heavy, and after Ankalaev, it falls off a cliff. You know what I mean? Like, who's the next best grappler, 205, after Magomed Ankalaev? Probably maybe Rochik, maybe Krylov, maybe Dominic Reyes. Like,
Osmont Murkazov, he can grapple.
Yeah, I mean, but
But
I got a lot of options.
I mean, and look, he's a relative unknown, but the guy does have mean ground and pound, has solid takedowns. It's just a matter
I get
of
you.
getting there. People don't see him in that capacity, but just to throw him in the mix there, like it's very limited. You're not wrong, and in a stand-up game, it's always going to be tough, right? Like it can happen, but you're not banking on it. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if this isn't kickboxing, this is MMA at the end of the day. You know?
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I'm thinking that after Ankalaev, it's gonna sound crazy. Maybe fucking Krylov, dude. I just don't trust. I don't trust anybody, honestly.
I mean,
like maybe Jan. I'd pick Jan Vlahovic, but even then, because he had such a close fight. But like, dude, the guy hasn't fought in years.
And he's about to fight.
Like,
he's gonna fight Olberg. Olberg's a striker, and Olberg is gonna. I'm assuming if Olberg wins, he'd probably get the title shot next.
Yeah. Krylov is crazy enough bastard. I could see him getting in like a single leg, getting up to the fence, getting him down, and then getting some sort of submission.
That could be like a Gus fight. You know what I mean? Granted, though, Gus is like his stock was way higher than Krylov's. Like how much he was appreciated. But you know what I'm getting at. Like that could be that John Gus fight was like, holy fuck, these guys are going to war right now.
Yeah. I mean that's very possible. But as far as Saturday night goes, Magomed Ankalaev I think will be a new UFC light heavyweight champion. But
I want to see Poton get pushed one more time, dude. Like I mean, and I have no issue with Dominic Chance, but dude, wouldn't it be so badass if this was a crazy ass 5-round banger? Poton's counter wrestling looks good. Maybe he gets his own takedowns in there. It's a crazy.
I think it could happen. I think it could happen. I think these guys are the two best guys in the division, but far and away.
But you're 100% right. I mean, this is the best 205 fight they can make in the UFC right now. 100%.
Yeah. Exactly. But anyways, man, how about this co-main event? Short notice, but still a banger, man. Justin Gaethje taking on Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev coming in here about 2 weeks' notice. Originally, as we know, it's supposed to be Dan Hooker. Dan had to drop out due to a broken hand. So now here we go. Justin Gaethje has not competed since his loss to Max Holloway, which was just one of those brutal knockout losses in a long time. Taking on Rafael Fiziev, who ranked number 11, coming off an injury, lost 2 in a row, kind of like a recipe for disaster here, and has already lost to Justin Gaethje once. But Rafael Fiziev is very electric, great striker in his own right. What do you make of this fight, man?
Dude, it feels like I was thinking about. I'm like, this fight feels right now. Like I was kind of like conflicted about it, but like looking at it now, I'm like, this makes sense right now. Like this can function. Like you said, Justin's coming off this loss. I know the 2-year layoff isn't ideal. I'm sure Fiziev would have kind of wanted just kind of not an easy fight, but a fight to kind of settle in, not fighting Justin Gaethje in your return, right? After 2 years layoff, after an injury, that's on 2 weeks notice. I mean, that's a tall task for like any elite fighter in the UFC, in the 155 division. You're not wrong. I mean, it could be a recipe for disaster. Look, Fiziev looked good in their first fight until he didn't, Also, this guy is literally one of the head coaches at Tiger Muay Thai, does a lot of I think even cause they got they pick and choose their guys and shit, who's coming through, who they want, and they get voted on this shit, and he's one of the main guys. I mean, we saw him in Whaley's corner a few weeks ago. This guy's a student of the game. He loves this shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go crazy on this. I'm gonna go. I had 2 week short notice. I'm also dude. I'm not saying this is the end of Justin Gaethje's chin or anything like that. But I know that at one point it's gonna crack. It's gonna be done. I mean, this guy's been through several wars. He has 30 professional fights. He's a do or die fighter. I know he's gonna go in there and give it his all, no matter who the fuck it is. I'm gonna go Fiziev. I got a feeling that he could come in here on short notice. 2 weeks, I know, is not ideal, but I kind of want to see the upset right here. I think it'd be fun.
Hey, you know what, man? I'm not gonna rule it out because look, man, Rafael Fiziev, I said it earlier, very electric, great guy in his own right. That first fight was incredibly close, but I just think, man, it's a recipe for disaster here. This guy's coming in here short notice, 2 week notice, after 2 years out of the cage, coming off a torn ACL. It just seems like it's bad news for me. I'm gonna go with the easy pick here, Justin Gaethje. Can Fiziev win this fight? Possibly. Very possibly. He's very electric.
By the way, I'm not dead set on this pick. I don't even think it's the most intelligent pick I could make. Like,
no, I get it.
I feel like the safe pick is Justin Gaethje, but I'm gonna go risky, dude. I'm going kind of risky in this card. I've gone Ankalaev, I've gone Fiziev. I think I've gone two underdogs so far.
Yeah, I respect it. Respect it.
Holy shit! On this thing I'm looking at, it says Fiziev's a favorite. Can you look on our boys at BetMGM what they're doing?
Yeah, that's interesting. You know what? I do know that Justin Gaethje, at least for BetMGM, did open up as an underdog.
I'm trying to pull it up too, but
presumably because they wanted, action on the fight. I know I actually grabbed him at plus 105, I believe.
I would say I'm looking at a unnamed sportsbook right now, and they have Fiziev as a favorite. I'm looking at BetMGM. Okay, so I got on my phone. Yeah, Justin Gaethje's a plus 135. Fiziev's a minus 160. There might be some value there for.
Am I insane? What? Huh?
No. I think you got a good take though. The thing is, I think you got a good take.
That's just. I mean, I love and respect top five.
And I'm telling you, I'm picking Fiziev, and I'm telling you, I don't blame you for choosing Gaethje. You know.
Yeah, I'm taking Justin Gaethje. I mean, I will say this. I told you over the weekend that I had my $25 bonus bet, and I included Justin Gaethje on that, along with a bunch of other fights. And it was a fight that we'll talk about that fucked me over. Gervonta Davis.
Wait, really? Wait, it didn't get voided because it was a draw?
Nope. It only gets voided if it's a no contest. If it's a draw, you have to go. So basically, there's the 2-way and there's the 3-way, and there's win, loss, and then if you go 3 ways, win, loss, draw, and you can bet on the draw. I went the 3-way, not thinking about it, because when the fuck does the draw happen? And I ended up beating a draw. So that's 400. And the other fights are all big favorites except for Justin Gaethje. I grabbed him plus 105. So
heartbreak, Josh. You're like, yeah. What are the odds, right?
Yeah. What are the odds? Oh, yeah. It's a draw as one of the biggest favorites. So whatever. Yeah. Totally not like really upset about it. Still sitting here a few days later.
Oh,
but it was a free bet, so I can't be mad.
I had a few rogue ones too, but like I said, it was a free bet. That's really how you have to look at it too.
But the issue is that I'm a seasoned BetMGM user. If I was a new user and I followed that link down below in our description, I would have gotten all that money back. So, yeah, just a quick little plug. Anyways, next up on the main card, Jalen Turner, who was putting together a little bit of a run there for a minute, has now lost 3 of his last 4, granted, all very, very competitive fights. You're talking, he is 2 scorecards away and some ground and pound away from not having lost any of those fights. Last April, he lost to Hinata Moicano. That's obviously whenever he got the big knockdown in round 1, tried to do the walk-off. Moicano came back and ended up getting a stoppage win in his own right. Prior to that, he knocked out Bobby Green. Prior to that, split decision loss to Dan Hooker. Prior to that, split decision loss to Mateus Gamrot. So, brutal stuff for Jalen Turner. Taking on Ignacio Bahamondes out of Chile, who has put together a little run his own right. He's won 5 of his last 6. Last knocked down Manuel Torres in September, UFC 306. One of the only knockout finisher on that card. What do you make of this fight here between Turner and Bahamondes?
I love it. These guys might be fight of the night. By the way, they have to be the tallest lightweights. There's no way there isn't. I mean, they literally made the 2 tallest lightweights fight each other.
I think about that, but you're right, yeah.
I think Joel Alvarez is up there. I think he's like 6 foot, like just on the dot. I think. Could be wrong. Yeah. But, dude, no, I love this shit. I mean, this is going to be one of the hardest fights to predict. You know something? I'm going to go with my gut. I've been a Bahamondes believer from day one. I've loved this kid's journey. I'm gonna go with the cage himself. Also, he trains with Bilal Muhammad. He works with those guys. And also, Bilal's he's been hyping him up. Anytime he's ever been, I've seen him on like an ESPN show or something, and he talks about training partners, he exclusively brings them up. And I mean, he's been in the UFC now since he was 24, 25, and he started young, dude. And he's gonna turn 28 this year, I think. Might be hitting his prime here. I mean, a win here gets him into the rankings. Probably. I mean, if he does that, without a doubt, I mean, I can't think of I don't know any other Chilean fighter. Probably the best MMA Chilean fighter to date. I mean,
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, this is a big moment, dude. I mean, we got to recognize those things too. I mean, the accomplishment that can come from this fight is so fucking big for such a young guy who's also putting in that motherfucking work. Yeah. God, dude, I sold that better than what the UFC sold it, dude.
Yeah, I don't think the UFC sold this fight at all. So, Yeah, anyways, man, I got Jalen Turner winning this one, man. It's not really anything against Bahamondes.
Dude, we're splitting. I love this. We haven't split it forever.
I know, dude. It's been a minute. I mean, and I nearly, man, fuck, dude. I kind of want to go back and pick Poetan in the main event, too. I may change my mind by the end of the pod, but we may split on all these fights. I am taking Jalen Turner to get the win, though. I think he's the better man on the feet. I think he's fought the higher level of competition. I'm still a believer in the man. I'm still a believer in him. I mean, I ran it down earlier. He is 2 scorecards and ground and pound away from being on a, man, let me get the winning streak. I only talked about the losing streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dude, he's that away from being on a 9-5 winning streak. Like, the guy is that close. So, anyways, man, I'm picking him to get the job done on Saturday night. Next up, women's strawweight. Amanda Lemos taking on Iceman Lucindo. Amanda Lemos, now 37 years old, has suffered 2 losses in her last 3 fights. Meanwhile, the young Lucindo has the momentum. What do you make about this one, man?
I mean, we got to put some perspective into it. Outside of I think her UFC debut, which was against Leslie Smith, which is rough, right, with how Leslie Smith's career turned out in the end. Like, she's only lost to some of the most elite fighters in this division: Jessica Andrade, Weili Zhang, Verna Jindra, and she went the distance against Weili. And she was dangerous that whole fight because she has pop, even at her more advanced age now. Lucindo, good, building up a win streak. You know, she got by against last time against Marina Rodriguez, but still got the win. I don't think this one is so easy. You know, I feel like a lot of times with these women fights, guys try to go, or not guys, people, just a generality. I don't want to get us in trouble there. Tend to go with the person who kind of has the more recent, you know, has the win streak, has the wins. I mean, she's 23, she's young, she's the favorite. You know something? I'm gonna go with another motherfucking underdog. I'm gonna go Amanda Lemos. Dude, this is either gonna be the greatest cause of all time or the most tragic week for me ever. Oh man.
Yeah, dude, I'm actually in agreement with you. I actually didn't know that Amanda Lemos was the underdog until you said it right now. I'm taking Amanda Lemos. I love me.
By the way, near even, by the way. Through an unnamed sportsbook, 110 minus 130.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense. But man, you take a look at Iceman Lucindo, you can tell she's got the skill there to potentially be a contender one day. That being said, she's 23. Her biggest win was a split decision win over Marina Rodriguez, who has, you know, been a very up and down, not even up and down, just, I mean, her only win in her last 5 fights is Michelle Watson, who's just getting destroyed by everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and take Amanda Lemos. She still has a lot of juice left based on what we've seen in her last 2 fights, even including the loss of Weili, even including the loss of Verna. She still has some juice left. Lucindo, and that's just a huge jump. In terms of,
I mean, you could also break Lucindo's fights down a little bit, like obviously like the split to Marina Rodriguez. Also, Marina's also aging a bit too. Carolina, I mean, don't need to say much there. Poliana Viana, I mean, I thought at one point wasn't she on the verge of being cut? Like, might have got cut. I don't even remember. Brogan Walker. So. Brogan Walker, which, I mean, Brogan, tough fighter. I like her, but I know she's at a lower level, and she lost in her UFC debut against Yasmin Howie, which, I mean, Yasmin's also recently had her own downs, but at times has shown at least an elite, as potentially could be an elite level at times.
Yeah, man. That being said, I do like that fight a lot. That being said, they have the main card opener here positioned as, I love it when they do this. You know what I mean? Like, this fight should probably realistically be number 3 on the card, honestly. Like, in terms of entertainment value, King Bobby Green, 38 years old, but has still stayed around in the game and still been a ranked guy, which I'm not really sure if that's a sign that the UFC lightweight division is just not getting more talent, or if King Bobby Green just having this late career resurgence. Hasn't competed since his loss to Paddy Pimblett last July. Taking on the electric Mauricio Ruffy. Man, this kid, man, 11-1 out of Brazil. We know the story. 2-0 in the UFC. I had him, I praised him a lot actually, during our end of the year show. I believe I gave him Prospect of the Year. 2 wins in the UFC, Jamie Mullarkey and Jacob on top. Looked phenomenal, both of those. Great, phenomenal. As far as like, not really phenomenal, as far as like his, top, like we haven't seen him fight top level guys, but you can tell there's something there, you know? What do you make about this fight and this as the main card opener?
It's a banger. I mean, it's a good fight. It's good for both these guys. Both their striking styles will make the fight really fun. Bobby Green with the hands down, Mauricio Hoopi with that bladed stance, kind of Conor-esque. I mean, it should be good, but I will say, Josh, it could turn bad really quick. It could be a boring fight. It could turn into a boring fight.
What?
It could turn into a boring. I'm saying it could turn into a boring fight only because of how they both fight.
Go on.
Like, look, because look, Mauricio Hoopi, counterpuncher, stands back, bladed stance, looking for the Bobby Green, in and out, hands down, moving around. It could turn into a scenario where Mauricio's waiting for Bobby to just entry, waiting for the big counter, and Bobby's not gonna try to fully feed into that. So it becomes like almost a scenario where both guys are kind of looking at each other, and I think it could potentially turn into a bad fight. I hope it doesn't, but I know it could.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
if I do, I'm going to laugh so hard next week.
I was going to say, hearing your explanation, I could see that. I could see that.
I said it could. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that I said it could. I never said it's going. I said I could see it potentially turning into a boring fight.
Yeah, I know, and I'm saying I could see that happening now, having heard your explanation. Regardless, take a look at this UFC 313, the prelims, like beyond the main card. You know, it's not bad. But I mean, we have these pay-per-views sometimes. It's either like just completely stacked, or you'll have some shit like, you know, this is something in the middle, I would say. You know what I mean? Like we have those pay-per-views where it's like 1 to 2 good fights at the top level. Then you have those ones that are stacked. This is in the middle. You got Curtis Blades taking on Hezon Kuniev. Strange matchmaking, but I'm assuming they're hoping Kuniev breaks through here. You know. Joshua Van, Ray Tatsura.
I have a question. Do you think that Blades in the UFC are in a bad place if this fight's happening?
I don't think they're in a bad place, but I think they know that they don't have many contenders, and Curtis Blades has been around as a top-level heavyweight for almost a decade now.
I wonder if he's on one of his last fights, too.
Now, that could be possible. I've not heard anything about that being the case, but it is very possible.
Because, I mean, dude, come on. Like,
yeah,
it is a UFC newcomer. It was different in the case of, like, the Pantoja and Kai Sakura scenario because it was, like, they needed someone. They brought in a guy who was a champ in another promotion. Dude, I mean, this isn't this Curtis. We're not talking about Curtis being, like, 15th or 14th or he's, like, 38, you know. He's the number 5 ranked UFC heavyweight fighting a UFC debutant. There has to be some sort of things that we don't know, obviously, behind the scenes. I mean, if it's simply they were just like, hey, this is the fight we're to do, and you ain't got no choice. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah. I don't know. It just, it's very bizarre to me. I guess I don't know really what I mean, like I said, I assume the UFC just hoping that Kuniev breaks through here because they just need new contenders, but you could be right. It could have something to do with, the fact that maybe Curtis Blades on one of his last 2 fights. I just don't know. You know what I mean? That being said, strange booking, but hopefully it'll be fun. I'm sure it will be fun. I admittedly have not seen a lot of Kuniev, but we'll see what happens. Joshua Van, Ray Tatsura is a banger at 125. I love that fight. I love Joshua Van. Even though he lost to our boy Charles Johnson recently. I say recently, that's probably like, you know, a year ago now, but you get my point. Still a lot of momentum for him. Bruno Ferreira, Arnold Petrosian should be fun at 185. I like that. Bruno Ferreira still kind of see what his ceiling is. Petrosian, I feel like we have a better idea, but we'll see. Alex Morono coming back here against Carlos Leal. I like that. Alex Morono, very much, yeah, a veteran of the game. Still, putting on fun fights at his advanced age of 34. I say advanced age. He looks like he fights like he's 38. Is that me?
I mean, also the guy has like 30 plus professional fights, like 35, 36, somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I just assumed Alex Pereira would have been like late 30s based on how he fights. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. If you go on to the early prelims, you got Myron Santos, Francis Marshall at featherweight, Chris Gutierrez, John Castana at
Banger.
145. I like that. And then opening up the card, DeJordan Ribeiro dos Santos, Osman Diaz. I get it. I mean, that should be fun. Like,
for all I complain, I think the card is well constructed.
I think it's well constructed. It's just not overwhelming. It's okay.
Yeah, it's enough, just barely enough to pass as a pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. That being said, you got any closing thoughts on UFC 313 before we go ahead and move on?
No, man, I'm excited. I mean, obviously this card went through a lot of changes. Bruno Silva, who was supposed to fight Usher originally, Victor Petrino, Jonita Diaz, it was also supposed to be on this fight. It didn't happen. And then Chris Gutierrez was originally supposed to be fighting Jim Matsumoto, who we saw fight not too long ago, and obviously we lost Dan Hooker. Obviously some in there that I would have had rather than others. Yeah, so it is what it is.
I gotcha. Nonetheless, man, we do have a few things to go over in our news section. Not a big week for news, but just, I'd say some things came out. We do have to start off with a recap. Man, I gotta eat some crow here. I got to eat a fair bit of crow. I said last week, well, I guess I was right about one of these things. I said last week that Lamont Roach does not deserve to be in the ring with Gervonta Tank Davis. I said that Gervonta Tank Davis is a 30-year-old prospect, and that we still don't really know anything about him. But, yeah, in the end, we learned a lot about Gervonta Tank Davis, and we also learned a lot about Lamont Roach. Ends up being a majority draw. 12 rounds of boxing. Both guys going back and forth. Gervonta Tank Davis landing some big shots throughout. Lamont Roach taking them really well, putting the pressure on, landing some good stuff himself. The big controversy, though, round 9. Gervonta Tank Davis takes a knee. The referee, Steve Willis, starts counting. 1, 2, and then Gervonta Tank Davis gets up, and Steve Willis is like, hey, you can't do that. That looks like it's a knockdown. Well, I have news. That is a knockdown. In the entire history of professional boxing, that's always been a knockdown. But they didn't call it a knockdown. He willingly took a knee. They did not call it a knockdown, and that's the only reason why Gervonta Tank Davis still has an undefeated record. Angel, I know you've seen the controversy. I know you didn't see the whole fight, but what did you make about the controversy, and what do you make about the whole situation?
I mean, look, just to put it simply, to my knowledge, Josh, anytime a boxer takes a knee, it's a automatic 1 point. It's ruled a knockdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the entire history of boxing, like it's been a knockdown. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know about what to say about it. I mean, they literally robbed this poor fucking guy. I will say, full disclosure, I watched this fight. I thought he deserved the nod even before that whole controversy with the knockdown. I thought he outboxed Gervonta Tank Davis throughout. That's not to say that he, dominated him. It was a close fight. I just thought Lamont Roach deserved the win. But even if you include the knockdown, he absolutely gets the win. Here's the issue, though. That was such an egregiously corrupt situation and moment that Lamont Roach might actually get the nod here and get a win maybe on appeal, because it's simple math. If you include the knockdown, which that is a knockdown, he wins the fight. So I don't really know what's going to happen here. Maybe they'll get turned into a no contest. Maybe they'll get turned into a decision win for Lamont Roach. I'm inclined to believe that the most likely thing to happen is they're going to do nothing, because athletic commissions, and we talk about this week after week after week, we started to talk about the start of the show for MMA, they just don't want to touch these situations. They want to just leave them alone. They just want to put them in a corner like, hey, if we just don't think about it, people will move on and we won't have to do anything. And that is what they're probably going to do. But Lamont Roach is probably going to file appeal. The poor guy got fucking robbed. That was a knockdown. I don't care. It was something in his eye. I don't care. That's not how the sport works. You can't take a fucking timeout. And I said this before the show, the only guys who could have ever gotten away with it in that situation were Gervonta Tank Davis and Canelo Alvarez, man. I'm sorry. Like, that is, Floyd Mayweather back in the day, if he was still fighting too, and you know what I mean? Like, only a few guys throughout boxing history could have ever gotten away with that shit that happened on Saturday night, and Gervonta Davis is one of them. So hopefully we get some sort of resolution, or they book a rematch or something, because that was just egregiously bad. That being said, we can go ahead and move on, because this is, we have 3 UFC stories to wrap up, and all of them are honestly really bizarre, weird. I don't know what you really say about it. We'll hit off with this. New FBI, let me get his official title. I don't want to fuck this up. You know what I mean? Because I make the clips, Angel, and if you know, let me see what his official title is. I believe FBI Director. Yes, okay. New FBI Director Kash Patel recently came out in a meeting and said, "Hey, I got the perfect idea to improve the FBI. Let's have the UFC train our field agents, and let's give them a big contract." Angel, I guess normally I'd ask, what do you think about this? I guess, what was your first reaction? I mean, this is one of the weirdest stories you've seen, but it's already gotten some traction. Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler going out there saying like, "Hey, we'll train these guys for you," you know? What do you make about this whole situation?
I mean, look, why the fuck not, man? I mean, it just, well, what are the downsides, I guess? I mean, if these guys want to train them, sure, so be it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really know what to say about it either. I mean, because it's not anything I really thought I'd have to talk about on this show. But hey, man, good for the UFC. I mean, they did promote Donald Trump for like 2 years, and now they're not only going to, and both, it's funny, is both these 2 swords are connected, Angel. Both these 2 swords are connected. Obviously the UFC working with the FBI, they promoted Donald Trump for 2 years. They got him into office. Now they might get an FBI contract, okay? Not only that, they announced earlier today the TKO group, led by Dana White, and now Turki Al-Sheikh working together to create a boxing league. This is something that is not possible in the United States thanks to the Ali Act. However, it seems that last month, Ari Emanuel said, "Hey, we're going to take a look at the Ali Act and see what we can do about removing that." Angel, give me your thoughts on Zuffa Boxing and this news as well with Turki Al-Sheikh.
I mean, look, I don't know if it could be done right, which it probably won't be for the interest of the boxers. Sure, why not? But if it's done wrong, it could be really bad for the guys who were involved.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is I'm pretty conflicted, man. I'm pretty conflicted on this because I do think like if Dana really, and here's the thing, for all the shit I talk about on Dana White, if he's invested and he actually cares, the guy's one of the best in the business. He just is. I mean, he got to the UFC. He promoted them to a point where, and granted, you had all the stars, obviously, who played such a big role and none of them got fucking paid. But, like, you know what I mean? Leading up to the $4 billion sale to WME, a lot of that was Dana White. Like, he brought them from small casino shows to selling out stadiums. Like, the guy is a great promoter, and if he cares, he'll put his all into it. And I think he probably cares about this. It's well known now that his first love is boxing, so I do think that there could be some fun stuff here. That being said, dude, think about this from the perspective of a boxer, right? Angel, put yourself in the mindset of a professional boxer, okay? You're just chilling. You've been making your millions. You're fighting guys. You know, you're promoting shows. Now, because UFC fighters couldn't get fucking unionized, you might miss out on those multi-million-dollar paydays that might have to work for Dana White. I mean, when you look at it through that lens, it really fucking sucks. If they're cutting, dude, like, I hate to get political here, but if they're cutting like 80,000 jobs from the VA, they don't give a flying fuck about boxers in the Ali Act, man. Like, they don't. They'll rip up that tomorrow if it means that Dana White can make some money. And, obviously, that's the big thing holding this up. So I don't know what's going to happen to it. I don't know if the Ali Act will just be reworked or if they'll rip it up entirely. I believe they'd have to go through Congress, but they're really testing the limits of the executive branch right now, so I don't know. But regardless, we knew this is in the pipeline. Let's see what Dana White and Turkey Al-Sheikh can get done in the boxing world. And the whole thing is they want to see the best fight the best. Credit to Turkey. He's already making that happen. So, we'll see. We'll see. Nonetheless, man, this is the last news of the day, and this is something that you actually did not want to talk about. But I think it'd be, we'll see what happens. This past week, actually yesterday, Amanda Nunes, who has been teasing a comeback for a while now, once again, teasing a comeback. She released a picture of herself training in the gym. It's now been 2 years since Amanda Nunes last competed, and she said afterwards, like, hey, if there can be like another big fight for me, I'd actually consider coming back. Absolutely, I'd consider it. We have Kayla Harrison here. She has history with Juliana Pena. What do you make of a potential Amanda Nunes comeback in the year of our Lord, 2025?
I mean, look, in her case, I think anytime if Amanda Nunes wanted to make a comeback, it made sense. She was still good. She was winning. She's one of the most dominant champs ever in the UFC, regardless of gender. And women's, untouched, So, yeah, if she ever wants to come back, yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah. That's the way I feel about it, too. And really, UFC just doesn't have a lot of stars. So, hey, man, if you can get Amanda Nunes back, she would still be probably the biggest star in women's MMA, I would say. And one of the biggest draws the UFC has. She is still the GOAT. She's genuinely the greatest women's fighter of all time, and she left at the top. She's still a champion whenever she retired. This other one was the one that, I saw getting more attention. It is going to blow your mind, Angel. Time passes. Time waits for no one. It's been almost 10 years since Ronda Rousey last competed in the cage. December 2016 was her last fight, a loss to Amanda Nunes. Well, she's no longer with the WWE. She's been chilling for the past year. I remember after she got released from the WWE, some people thought maybe she'll come back. Didn't end up happening. She released a photo on Instagram this past week, a few photos of her training at an MMA gym with the caption of "Back at it." Angel, we talked this before. I don't think it'll lead anywhere, but do you think there's a possibility Ronda Rousey, now 37 years old, could be making a comeback to the cage?
Fuck no.
All right, that's all. I'm at Josh Soundoff on. No, don't be fucking. Realistically, I'm with you. I don't think she will return. But that did jump out to me, man. She's never really been the type.
I think that door closed a while ago, dude. Just to put it out there, that door's been closed for a good 5 years now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just thought it was interesting because she's clearly working on something. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, yeah.
What is it? I don't know.
Dude, it's gonna be some fucking bullshit, bro. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, I very much doubt it'd be a professional wrestling return because she very much, by the end of it, she was like, yeah, I fucking hate it. So I don't know.
Why did she dislike it at the end? Do you know by chance, or? She
hated Vince McMahon. She hated kind of the world of professional wrestling, which to be fair, the world of professional wrestling, once you, in MMA, you're kind of it's a circus. Wrestling, you kind of go in and it's it's nice, but then you keep on turning over rocks and you just keep on finding sex offenders.
Man.
It's true. Do you think Vince McMahon McMahon's going to walk now because of that? I hate to bring everything back to Trump, but he's going to walk now because Trump's president. That's crazy.
Dude, I forgot about that whole legal situation. We hadn't even talked about that because it was such a big deal when it happened. Because
the feds were after him, man. The feds have a 99% conviction rate.
Is that actually true?
Yes. If the federal government wants to convict you, they're going to convict you.
No. It makes sense, but I just didn't know it was 99%.
Yeah. I may be slightly off 98, something like that, but I know it's above 95%.
Dude, weren't even names like Brock dropped in this shit?
Correct. Brock was dropped in this, and they said that apparently Jesus, I hate to relitigate this because it's so fucking gross, but apparently Brock Vince had this woman basically as a sex slave and was like, hey, Brock as a part of the deal wants to have sex with you to re-sign.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the world of the WWE and professional wrestling is disgusting. And you have this Vince stuff, and then you have John Cena turning heel on Cody Rhodes on Saturday night. I just completely beside myself.
Josh is the world is just upside down, man.
Dude, it is 2025. We are in a recession, and John Cena is a heel. What the fuck is happening, man? what happened? What happened in my country? What happened in my world? No, I'm fucking around. I don't think Ronda Rousey's gonna come back. I think it's more likely we're gonna see Cody Rhodes in the UFC fucking cage before we see Ronda Rousey in there back. But hey, man, she's doing something. I just don't know what. Maybe jiu-jitsu? Maybe she'll go and do some jiu-jitsu? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Any thoughts on anything else before we're going bounce out of here, man?
Oh, man, I mean, I'm excited to come back next week, talk about the pay-per-view. I say this every single time. Pay-per-view is always a fun time to talk about the sport, mainly because, they're the biggest fights. And yeah, I mean, just to put it simply, I'm just happy. And obviously next week, hopefully, and the weather will be nice. We'll see each other. It's always fun doing the pod in person. The dynamic is just better. Everything is just better about it. And hopefully we get some crazy shit that goes down, man. I mean, the crazier the card, the better the conversation, I think, between us. Imagine if, I don't know, maybe there's an upset on every single fight, like an underdog. It's like historic, first time it's ever happened. Every single underdog won a UFC card, won on the UFC card. I mean, all that shit would be awesome if it went down like that.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it, man. Hoping for the best for this weekend. Hoping the fights are going to be fun. If you guys want to follow along with the action, Josh Soundoff on Twitter. I'll be tweeting about it. I know you, Angel, you probably will be too, at Angel401, at Courtside Soundoff for all things related to the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's all for me. Peace.